Okay, so this is my long-term review of my 2017 S1000RR. I got this early 2018, so yeah, it's my little review. This bike, so I've been riding for about 25 years. This is all sports bikes. This is my fifth bike. I had not the first one counts, YZF 250, GSXR 750, ZX9s, R1s, and then I've had this one. I do ride a fair bit. I have probably ridden 250,000 Ks, about 150,000 miles in my time. So I predominantly ride sports bikes. Yeah, for a long time. In terms of this bike, yeah, love it. I've done 50,000 Ks on it. It's about 30,000 miles. I've had it 3.5 years. I'm onto my fifth set of tyres. I've had 2 chains, about 3 sets of pads, 2 on the rear, 3 sets of front, 2 on the rear. The only problems I've had with it, the first problem I had was a cracked head stem nut, which is this little nut in here. Now, I think it's pretty much cosmetic because that's just aluminium, so it's not really load bearing. I think all the load bearing happens further down, but it was pretty weird. It opened up, had about a 1mm gap. The only other problem I had was with the quick shifter, where it just stopped shifting. It took them ages to figure it out. They ended up changing that sensor. Cost me like $1,500 Australian, that is. And a lot of labour because it was out of warranty. Turned out to be a cracked wire somewhere under the fuel tank, which is a bit weird. I think BMW, in a quest for weight reduction, made the wiring really thin, so that's something I'm probably going to worry about when this gets a bit older, that all the wiring will start falling apart. But anyway, yeah, as a sports bike, have had it down at Phillip Island. This thing is mad. Power wheelies at like 240 kilometres an hour, 150 mile an hour. As you quick shift into fourth, it'll wheelie. The front will come up, which is pretty scary on the straight as you go under the Melbourne sign. But absolutely amazing. Handles amazing. Brakes amazing. Everything amazing as a track bike. There's a reason that California Superbike School use these bikes for their training. Yeah, love it. Now, I've been doing about 18,000 Ks a year on this, well, for the last 2 years, so I don't know what that is in miles, 12,000 or something. But as a commuter bike, cons, can't really pick many. Like all sports bikes, when you shift into neutral, you probably want to do it from moving. If you try and shift into neutral when you're stationary, it's a bit of a fishing expedition, but that's no different to any 1 litre sports bike. Yeah, I initially found the indicator switch wasn't very like, doesn't make much of a noise, but I've gotten used to it. Coming off last bike being the R1, don't know, it's really minor, it's really quite insignificant. If you ever I have tried launch control like once or twice. Don't really love it. I reckon you're quicker without, depending on, I guess, how experienced you are, but it's just very unnatural, the launch control on this. But there you go. It's not really a lot of cons. Pros, riding position. Everyone says that's a con on sports bikes, but I've got a bulging disc in my lower back, so leaning forward is actually better for me. Sitting in a car gives me back pain. Sitting on any other bike gives me back pain. The quick shifter up and down is amazing. As I say, when it works. It is dead set the most amazing thing you'll ever experience. It shifts cleaner and faster and smoother than you can with your clutch, which is amazing. When you have a pillion, not that it's great for pillions, but we'll talk a bit more about that in a sec. But it's that helmet crash when you don't do a smooth shift that's really annoying when you're the rider. But with the quick shifter, it barely even happens because it's just so quick, so seamless. It's amazing. Cruise control is just a massive. This has saved my license so many times, and I'd say not just saved my license, but also probably saved my life even, because when you got your cruise engaged, you're not spending your time looking at your speedo. You're spending your time looking at what's happening around you in the traffic, and in doing that, I've avoided pieces of like pallet that have fallen off the back of trucks and exploded in some kind of bloody Final Destination experience down the road, shards going everywhere, missing my head. But if I didn't have cruise control on, I probably would have been looking at my speedo, might have missed it happening and collected it, who knows. But I think it's great from a safety perspective for exactly that reason, because these bikes are pretty twitchy. You can easily be going over the speed limit with just, tiniest flick of the wrist, and so you spend your time staring at your speedo. But cruise is awesome for that. Economy-wise, gets about 5.6 litres per 100 Ks. Real world is 50,000 Ks in. I'm still getting 5.6 litres per 100 Ks. It's about 42 mile per gallon. The big pro for commuting, that's about, all right, I ride it till it gets down to 0 kilometres to empty on the dash, but I get 280 Ks out of a tank, and I still can only put like 17 litres in, so I've still got a little bit to go, half a litre. Other awesome things, the mirrors fold in. Now that probably sounds a bit weird, but when you spend your whole time commuting, primarily on freeways, and you want a lane split through stationary traffic, you do want to fold your mirrors in. Gives you that little bit of extra, clearance. Doesn't look like much, but the reality is your bars are typically below car mirror height, but the mirror is often at car mirror height. So if you can fold it in, it is very nice. Other than that, it's got insane, just ridiculously insane power. Not that you would ever need it on the street, but you can get yourself out of trouble very quickly, this sort of power. You can get yourself into it as well, don't get me wrong. But if you've got your head screwed on, it's amazing to be able to get out of situations very quickly. Or it could be that, maybe you've filtered to the front of the lights and some idiot's not happy about the fact that you've filtered through, and he decides he wants to try and give you a nudge, which happens, once, twice a year. I don't have aftermarket pipes or anything on this, so it's not, offensively noisy or anything. So I've got no reason for people to have a beef with me, but you still get them. You still get idiots who are jealous for whatever reason. They should really just get a bike. This has got power modes on it. It's got, anyone with a beamer knows, you got, where is it? Oh, it's over there. Power modes. It's got like a rain mode, a sport mode, race and slick, and then user mode, which lets you adjust everything. To be honest, when I first got it, I started my first week was on sport mode, and then I went to race mode for probably 6 months, and now I pretty much exclusively just ride on slick mode, coming off an R1 with zero electronics, not even ABS. Kind of like the feel. Race mode, I find when I launch out of a corner or something, I don't know, I think I'm just used to the front wheel coming up as you're still leaned over, and the computer really doesn't like that on this, and it sort of like, winds back the throttle just a little bit. It's not intrusive, but you can feel it, and I don't like the feel of that. I like the feel of the natural power and the natural sort of launch, so I turn it off. Obviously, if you don't know how to ride in the wet with a 1 litre, then you probably shouldn't be riding a 1 litre. Riding position, yep, I've done 1,000-kilometre long days on this, so talking, 10, 12 hours in the saddle, and purely because you have the cruise control, it's doable because you can ride, you can sit up, put both hands on your tank, shake it out, you can lean back, you can lean forward, You can hold it with left hand, right hand, shake out your wrists, whatever, and you can do it. Heated grips on this are amazing. Yeah, where are they? There, that was power, the nodes. Yeah, heated grips from factory are just deluxe. I mean, I'm in Melbourne, Victoria, in Australia, and it's pretty cold in winter. Not cold by global standards, but in winter it can be a couple of degrees above freezing. And the heated grips are amazing because I don't like winter gloves. I find them too bulky. It's got to be very, very cold for me to put winter gloves on. I think I've done it once in the last year. But the heated grips are just really, really nice. In terms of mods, I've got a gear bag which looks a little bit like an Uber Eats bag because I made it. It looks like that. It's pretty gay looking. It is waterproof. It's that size and that shape because that fits my old brick work laptop that they give me. That is exactly the footprint of my laptop for when I go to and from work. It also is, I made it high enough to fit my helmet, so I can zip my helmet in if I have to, and I can put a lock on the zip or whatever, and if someone wanted to take it, they could just take it. But that fits in place of the pillion seat. So I just got a bracket from one of those seat cow things for $40, and I made that up. It's just a bit of ply, bolts onto this weird thing, which is just my thing that I did, but I do enjoy that. I have got a tail tidy, as you can tell. Just looks a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner. There's no real functional improvement there. I did make being an engineer and recently getting into 3D printing, I made this thing up, which my ID badge, which is also my security pass, goes in. That's so that I can, when I ride to work, I can just scan in, just grab it and scan in. I've got a couple of lacquer bands and what have you on it. It doesn't fall out backwards, but makes life a little bit easier than ruffling around looking for something or having some giant thing attached to your keys which flaps around and scratches your paint. Obviously, I've got the quad lock with the wireless charging. That is a game changer, lifesaver. I ride everywhere with Waze running, the Waze app, so I can see not only when there's reports of police or whatever, so I don't generally speed much anyway, but if there's something on the road or whatever and people tag it, it's always really good. Again, can be a lifesaver. And knowing your GPS speed. The speed on this reads quite high. I just recently changed tyres to this Mitas brand from Slovakia. So I do a lot of Ks obviously, so getting cheaper tyres is a plus. They're really good tyres, love them. But they are slightly smaller diameter, so I tend to use GPS speed on Waze on my phone more than I do the speedo because it's about 8 or 9 k's an hour out. My other little mod is this. Is my secret. Oh, can't see. That is a garage remote right there, so it's hidden underneath. Again, it's like a 3D printed thing that I designed up. So for pillions, as you can see, about the size of a small lunchbox, has about the same comfort level as a kid's lunchbox. Yeah, the old cheese and kisses, she doesn't love it for any more than about 20 minutes. The kids, on the other hand, got four kids, a lot of kids. 2 of mine, 2 of hers, 3 13-year-olds and a 10-year-old. All 4 of them love it. I think they love it. Probably is pretty uncomfortable, but they're obviously a little bit smaller. But because you're obviously a little bit higher, which is the same as any sports bike, they can see over the top, and they just love the launch power of this thing. Riding with a pillion on this is not very enjoyable. With all that weight very high up, it is not good at all. You got to be a little bit careful. To lift the front wheel, just with not much throttle, when you've got a pillion on, and that can be interesting for a pillion. So if you've got a pillion, you probably want to be on race mode where it won't let you wheelie. I think it'll let you lift the front wheel for about 5 seconds at about 27 degrees or something, I think I read. And that's, not that it's going to be a lifesaver, because you just need to control yourself, but not a ton of fun with a pillion for any distance. Not surprising given the bike that it is. But of the 5 bikes that I've had, this one I love the most. It is amazing. It has all the computer wizardry. If you want to let it take over, it has 200 horsepower, which is insane power. Super nimble, can get in and out of anything. As a commuter, it's just awesome. Just love it. Highly recommend getting one. Pretty much, I think anything from 2015 onwards. I think 2019 I went to the new shape. I'd love to get a 2019, but I tend to just rack up tons of miles. So I might wait until I see one that someone's put 5,000 Ks on and then flogged it because it scared the crap out of them. But which just tends to be how I pick up bikes. This one I did buy new. I was the first owner. But that's about it. That's my review. My long-term review of the S1000RR. Cheers. Bye. Hope you enjoyed it.